श्री गुरु तेग बहादुर साहिब के 350वें शहीदी दिवस को समर्पित पंजाब सरकार की श्रद्धा और सत्कार से भरपूर पहल। पंजाब के 23 जिलों में गुरु साहिब के जीवन और बलिदान को दर्शाते लाइट एंड साउंड शो। श्रीनगर, गुरदासपुर, फरीदकोट और तख्त श्री दमदमा साहिब, तलवंडी साबो से अनंतपुर साहिब तक 4 महान नगर कीर्तन तथा 23, 24 और 25 नवम्बर को अनंतपुर साहिब में होने वाले भव्य समागमों में मुख्यमंत्री सरदार भगवंत सिंह जी मान की ओर से सभी को नतमस्तक होने का हार्दिक अनुरोध। आइए अपनी अटूट श्रद्धा और सत्कार के साथ इन समागमों का हिस्सा बने।
Nischal Maheshwari joins us now on the show. Mr. Maheshwari, thank you so much for your time. And quite a momentous day, isn't it? The Nifty 50 has finally breached that lifetime high. And expectations of that, of course, were running large ever since the first time Donald Trump announced the word tariffs.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. Congratulations to you and your viewers also, basically, that we have hit back after almost 14 months.
That's right.
We had achieved. And but I have to say this, basically, in the current year, all the emerging markets have performed really well. So India is just doing what is basically just a catch-up kind of a thing. It's not that India is running away ahead of others. And that's why it gives me a lot of comfort that this is there to last, and we will definitely see more higher highs from here onwards.
All right. So is this rally likely to last, like you're saying, Mr. Maheshwari, or is this the moment where we are going to see immediate profit taking, and do you expect the markets to at least today end a little lower, or at least have some sort of a volatility as investors look at taking some cash off the table?
So when you reach a level, basically after 14 months, obviously the jitteriness is there. Nobody is sure basically it's going to last or not. And that's why people who have been holding on, there is going to be a group of people basically looking at booking profits or even getting out of the market. So I'm saying that's okay. That's par for course, basically. I don't see any reason to get worried about that. But given that it has come and within I think last 10 days, it has come and breached the previous high. This is the second time. So I think it gives me a lot of confidence that there is a lot more to go from here onwards.
All right. And what are some of the reasons that investors could potentially be nervous about? Because we know that the trade deal with the US has been hanging in the balance, and there's been absolutely no confirmation yet on when and if that deal is going to come through. So in the advent of expectations that investors have of that trade deal with the US not coming through for for another few weeks, if not months, is there going to be some more nervousness that you expect?
So I'm saying the more nervousness is basically about that you have come back to the same level after 14 months, whether this level is going to be held on or not. And the second thing is the amount of paper which we are seeing. There is record amount of paper which is getting distributed. And I think that is worrying the market basically, because IPOs as well as promoters selling their stake, which is not a very good sign basically, especially the promoters selling their stake in the market. Yesterday, I think Bharti came and sold, I think, 0.5% or whatever.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's a large amount of money basically which is getting carried out of the market. So that's what I think is a worrying sign basically in this market.
All right. And what are you reading of the growth projections on India coming from bodies like the IMF as well as S&P, which are all continuing to be fairly bullish on India's GDP growth momentum, backed, of course, by the fundamental strength of the economy and its large consumer base, plus the GST reforms that we've seen. Is this the time that foreign investors are going to make a U-turn? We saw on Monday there was a sell-off, but then yesterday foreign investors were back on the table, I think putting in as much as about $100 million or so, $800 million or so. So do you think foreign investors are going to look at India's fundamental strength with a lot more confidence? And can we expect that FPI, FII money to keep coming in?
So we have to see whether this was one of basically, because yesterday that Bharti deal happened, which was more than almost close to $1 billion. So there is a high chance that the FI is bought because it is one of their favorite stock. So it may be a one-off kind of a thing. Basically, what we saw, we have not seen any signs of reversing very strongly by the FIs, and their worry still continues to remain basically about the high valuations.
Right.
And the amount of paper which is coming. So I think that is what worries them. And I think a definite U-turn will happen when India and US sign the deal and the last of the issues get sorted out. Because we are still, if you look at it, basically it's a very high tariff.
Right.
50% tariff is a very large tariff basically, and it is impacting industries. So I think once that gets sorted out, I think FIs will start looking at more positively towards India.
All right. You're talking about high valuations of the Indian market, sir. How does this compare, let's say, with the valuations that we are seeing for the big tech, for example, in the US? The big tech, especially companies like Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, etc., they're all soaring in high PEs as well. So wouldn't India offer that arbitrage to global investors?
So you can't say India basically, because India as a market compared to the big tech, because that's a particular sector.
Okay.
And that sector continues to do very well, and it's a very long runway ahead of it. Secondly, all those companies are at the cutting edge of technology. Basically, they are the world leaders. So I think there will be spaces within India where you can do like this, but you can't compare India with a sector basically which is globally out there.
All right. And what about the cozying up of relationships between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping? Do you think geopolitically, not just geoeconomics, but geopolitically, China also has an equally good, if not a better advantage than India in the absence of a trade deal that India has with the US and, of course, the warmth that is on display between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump?
So I'm saying these are hits and misses basically. So I would only look at it saying that does China have a better tariff than India, which is not so. So I wouldn't really bother about a few phone calls or a few meetings till the tariffs get signed. So India has had its own share of calls and all. So I don't really worry about that part basically. I think once the deal gets signed and what is the final number, I think that only will decide whether China has an advantage over India or not.
All right, Mr. Maheshwari, let's leave it at that. Of course, that question mark always hangs on who has a bigger advantage. Would it be China? Would it be India? But a momentous day today, nonetheless, for the Nifty 50 to have breached that lifetime high. And thank you so much, Mr. Maheshwari, for joining us on this special occasion.